build this building, it's gonna be here for 50 years. He said, so they're looking at your immediate needs, what's gonna sustain it, what's gonna last, and, you know, I mean, they very much get in tune with what's the feel of the town, what's the nature of the town, and they wanna build a building that's complementary to the town. And again, he's at the point, and I remember him saying that, he said, you know, this building's gonna be here for 50 years.
And to add credence to that, if you read the paper this week, Westport, who has a brand new center, how much are they adding to it? Another $4 million, right?
Yes.
You're
A lot.
yeah.
A
For
lot.
50, what was it, not even a 15-year-old center, so
Yeah.
that speaks.
Right, so that speaks volumes, you know,
Well,
he's
and
absolutely
that's it,
right.
we're gonna look into expansion
Yeah.
possibilities, right, with the
Right.
property and the parking.
And one of the nice things that I remember about Glastonbury was they had a lot of property, which is our basic problem, you don't have property. And they built with the option, because we asked them, why don't you have a pool? And they said, that's on the plans, it's on the books. We didn't wanna go for it all at once, but if you looked at the building, it was definitely designed that a pool could be at one end of the building, and could definitely be there, you know? So, you know, there's a lot of possibilities.
We talked about that too, over the, as you said, we evolved to, you know, issues something smaller, something could be added on to, something built up, something built out.
But it may turn out that people want a pool now.
Joe, share some of those conversations you have with people that you check those references about how much the activity at the center
Oh,
is
well,
increasing.
Lynn and I both called, a number of the people that he had, places that he had built. How many?
References.
About 6 or 8.
How many are carried up?
Do we call? I called like 6
I
or
wanna
8.
say it was at least 6,
Okay, so
probably
what-
closer to
so
8
there
or
was
9.
12 total.
I think I spoke with 3 or 4, and you spoke with quite a few.
Okay, so like 6 or 8. And, you know, you catch somebody up on the phone, and first you have to explain who you are. Every one of them, you couldn't get them off the phone. They couldn't say enough nice things about it. But every one of them that I spoke to, and I think you too, that, the participation rates skyrocketed. In Plainville, it was 200%. So, you know, they thought they were serving the community. And then after they rebuilt the building, and in Plainville was an addition, they rebuilt the building and built a bigger one.
Right.
It went up 200%, and she said, we're probably underbuilt. We're at peak now, and we're only into it for a couple of years. And suddenly, you know, if you build it, they will come, it really did work, you know? And Groton, I mean, that place is just gorgeous. You know, and that has a lot of activity, and it serves the town and all the people in the town. But, numerous places, they all said Darien was a big one, they said the participation rate doubled after they built the center.
If the community is invested in what's going in there,
Yeah.
then they're going to come and use it, so I
Right.
think that's getting back to what's,
Right.
you know, that really important piece that clearly this fellow will, you know, it's important to him, and that's certainly good to know, and then becomes our
Actually,
responsibility.
That's one of the terms that Tom uses when
Mhm.
he gives his
Mhm.
presentation.
Yes, he did.
It's true though, yeah, they have to be, yep.
And that's exactly, he said, you have to get people invested so that they understand what's going on.
Yeah, it was a shame you missed
Part
his
of it.
presentation to
know.
us, because it was really
Mhm.
good,
I heard, yeah.
really good.
Mhm. It was
And the
impressive
town
on paper.
council was very good too.
Yeah.
I did see, I did see that.
Yeah.
He did a very good
Mhm.
job. And, you know, the participation rates skyrocketed everywhere that he went, which is very beneficial.
Is everybody comfortable with where we are at this point, has a good understanding of what we're
Yes.
gonna do, and we'll get the scope defined, and then we'll
Can I say a few things?
Sure, please.
I put a little focus on what we are asking the architect to do, or where we are as I see it, and I'm sorry, it's only my 3rd meeting, so I'm not trying to be obnoxious.
Well, we'll let you know.
But
what
I got that covered.
you can just give me a,
No, she thinks she's carrying the ball for you.
I got it covered, you're good.
where we are, we are at the pre-design stage. Or pre-design / feasibility stage. Okay, that's where we're in. And I think it's really important throughout this to not get ahead of ourselves and not get too far ahead of the people in the town, because how it's perceived is the committee is out here I'm not saying it went right or wrong, and the town is back here. And you have to go back and bring everybody along together, okay? And so the goal, I took a few notes, but what we are looking for from the architect in this phase, asking him to do, I think, and this is all in consultation with him, is conceptual recommendations for what we're gonna do, or what we might do, where it might go, and what it might cost, to reach a goal of a pre-design or feasibility. So I don't like to use the word feasibility study, but we're in the feasibility thing. And let's not bandy around $175,000 because it's based on nothing. And it's unfortunate that that number keeps getting kicked around. I know it's seed money, basically, to get kickstart, okay? But too many people are latching on to numbers that aren't even based on anything. We don't even have a scope of services based on anything yet. Okay? So it's and I'm sorry, Kev rightly said we're going to be a lot under, we're under that, because, and we don't even know, because we're in the pre-design feasibility stage, okay? So, and to me, and if you then go into that what, where, what, if I was, he's in the, and we are in the listening stage, he's in the listening stage, he's in the information gathering stage. In other words, we're here because we have a sense that there is a perceived need in town, or the town is not filling a need or needs that there are for its residents, for various activities, functions, so forth. And that's maybe one of the reasons why it started one thing and moves into another thing. And while the architect has done a number of these, of community centers, senior centers, they're all different. Okay? So the question is, what is a community center, perhaps in the town of Trumbull, need or want to look like based on what we need? Okay, not Newtown or Westboro, wherever. But the community center that fills a need. Okay? It was very interesting. I did read the two initial surveys. I mean, went over it and looked at the comments, okay? The most interesting part is the comments, because they are all over the place. So obviously there's some, but that tells, there is a lot of interest, there are a lot of needs that different people are interested, their own interest to be filled, and I think they should all be on the table. And so, and certainly, and the firm can make suggestions of what is appropriate, what they've done other places to fill the need. But, and I agree, one of the things that hit me when we were talking to the four architects who are here is every one of them, to a firm, said that what makes a successful, we asked them, I think, what would make our project successful, or what makes a successful project? And they said listening to everybody, listening to every stakeholder, listening to every group. And then we asked, what will make our project successful? Same answer, to a firm, to a man, is listening to all the stakeholders and all the groups. So, you know, I think we're on the right track. In other words, the architect's job here in this initial phase is to help us answer these questions. What might we do? Where might it go? What might it cost? So that we can make an informed, responsible decision as a committee and as a community, or not. Okay? And not get ahead of ourselves, but the community and the committee should be right here, right like that. That's the best, and that's what they're saying when the most successful projects are listening to all stakeholders. And of course, what we're talking about here is how do we go about finding all that out, which is the hard part. Because we have, in one way you can say we have an existing condition in town. We don't have enough meeting space. We don't have a community swim, or we have an old pool, or we don't have a place for teens, or we don't have a place for, seminars or films or whatever that people who are trying to use the library community room are shut out of because there's only so many groups that can meet there, okay? So we need, that's one thing. But we have an existing condition and we have problems with the existing conditions. We don't have enough of what we might need. And that, so from that, he's going to develop a program or help us to develop a program. A lot of what you've already done, I think, but I think mostly for a senior center, potentially. And from that, develop a answer to the what. Okay. Also in this is the where, but the where has a lot to do with the what, as well as, is it in a flood zone? Is it on a steep slope? Is it surrounded by neighborhood and so forth? And I would put every possible site on the table. Okay, because the only way to, and I don't wanna take his place, he can tell us. But why, why would a site be the right one? Accommodates the building that we have just sort of talked about, our facility, a community municipal facility. It can accommodate that or for growth and meet certain other criteria, the pros and cons of each one, so everybody can see why a site was taken off the table or kept on the table, but everybody can see it. Instead of going and saying one site or something like that, even though we are looking for a recommendation. So he's gonna help us with the site selection by that type of analysis with input from the what, the building, the conditions of the site, and all of that. Of course, those two things play into the cost, because you need these two things. You gotta stop talking about $8 million, or $10 million, or $15 million, or every other number that I've seen bandied about, okay? In the end, the cost of a building is based on hard, quantitative analysis of what we're doing. Lucinda knows exactly what I'm talking about. I'm sorry. Lucinda and I spent all those years on the building high school committee, and that's the nuts and bolts of what things, sometimes boil down to.